Well, a game changer for buy now, pay later business Zip this last week when it announced a major push into the US market with the acquisition of Quadpay. Shares rocketed up a whopping 69% and are still holding up about 50% since the news. I caught up with Chief Executive Larry Diamond and asked him first how Zip had weathered the last few months since COVID.
Yeah, look, the sector has been obviously a strong sector over here in Australia and also globally. But certainly if we cast our eyes back 8 to 12 weeks ago, you know, as boards of companies overseeing consumer credit and payment, we weren't sure how things were going to play out, and you know, as a company we took a number of decisive actions then. But I think what we've seen in the data has actually been really comforting. We've seen two trends emerge. One is the flight to online, which means that more customers are shopping online and using digital wallets like Zip to shop from the comforts of their home. And similarly on the credit side, we've actually seen some of our largest months of repayments, so customers being responsible, paying down balances. And so I think it's actually been a really good story for the buy now, pay later sector, showing the resilience of the sector in the face of other consumer credit products out there.
Because it was really interesting, because there were some concerns obviously going into this about bad debts. That doesn't seem to have happened. How have you emerged from it though? Because now people are worried that maybe this is going to fall back as a result of coming into recovery. How has May gone so far?
We've actually been incredibly pleased with the results. We will be providing a monthly update in the next couple of weeks on the May period. But if we look back to April, the arrears, repayments were all at really strong levels, and we believe that will continue in the short term. Yeah.
So you differentiate yourself by targeting perhaps a slightly older audience as well, around the 35s, I think. Remind us of your business model.
Yeah, sure. So, it's the Zip product, as you sort of touched on, is an interest-free digital wallet. We vet customers up front. We do it very quickly, but we also diligence them incredibly well. And so, our underwriting would be some of the strongest out there, not just against pay later, but also the credit card. Customers can effectively shop online, add products to their account and pay it back at the end of the month interest-free. And you can use Zip in a range of categories. You can use us at Bunnings, Amazon, Chemist Warehouse, and our mission is to be the first payment choice everywhere and every day. The average customer, interestingly, is about 35. So it's this older millennial, bordering on Gen X.
Yes.
They're digitally savvy and they want to be in control of their finances.
But in terms of your revenues, it's, as I understand, it's part customers, part merchant.
Yeah, so just a little summary there. Half our income comes from, say, merchant income, and the other half from customer income, which is a $6 monthly account fee. And that fee is for the benefit of this digital account, much like the banks have an account fee for their everyday banking.
Right.
The product itself isn't a pay in four, which is the Quadpay business that we've acquired globally is a pay in four. In Australia, it's an account where we empower customers. They can choose to pay back weekly, fortnightly, monthly. And interestingly, late fees only represents about 1% of our revenue. About 1 in 100 customers are late in any given month. And if you contrast that with other pay laters or credit cards, that might be 1 in 5, 1 in 6. So we have a very healthy customer who sees this product as higher up the rank versus some of the other products out there.
Right. Let's go to your US acquisition of Quadpay. Why is the US credit card market, Larry, so ripe for disruption?
Yeah, Australia has been a leader in the interest-free revolution, where we sought out to disrupt the credit card. An unfair product which focuses on high interest, revolving balances with long-dated repayments. And we've seen similar trends starting to emerge over in the US, where it's the lowest penetration of credit cards for the under 35s since the 1980s. And we believe post-GFC as well, the credit card market hasn't evolved. It's about still carrying very large balances with high interest and paying back over many, many years. We believe the interest-free pay later solution is perfect. It's still incredibly early in the buy now, pay later space in America, and the trends that we've seen here in terms of credit card closures over the last couple of years, we expect to accelerate over in the US, and early indications are absolutely that.
So really interesting that. Obviously you're following Afterpay into that market, but you had 15% of Quadpay already. You've used a very interesting capital raising, which is not really familiar down here in Australia. It's a convertible bond. Why did you choose that to raise your 100 million?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. The structure itself, while it might be slightly new to Australia, is actually very common, and it is a convertible instrument. There are many hybrid instruments over here in Australia that many companies have used. The reason we went down this path as a board, we looked at a couple of options. We ran an incredible process where we spoke to a range of funders locally and globally. As a board, we felt that the share price was undervalued, and coming up with a structure that allowed us to raise capital up to 200 million at up to a 50% premium to the price prior to the trading halt, we believe delivered a great return to our current shareholders, and also allowed us to raise capital at a price that didn't dilute current shareholders. And very fortunate to have found a partner in Heights Capital, which is part of the Susquehanna Investment Group.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it depends upon your share price rocketing up, which it has done this week, I must say, so you're on the way. Just let me ask you about the idea of being in credit and also the wallet, and you're not in the tap-and-go market. How do you see that evolving?
Yeah, look, we've started out building a closed-loop network over here in Australia. 6 years ago, we integrated our first merchant. It was a bicycle store over here in Sydney, and we integrated into the checkout, where Zip became a payment option alongside Visa, MasterCard and PayPal. And over the last 6-7 years, we've built up about 50,000 integrated connections with over 20,000 merchants. What's interesting about the Quadpay model over in America is they've partnered with Stripe. They've leveraged the Visa network to allow them to offer installments interest-free anywhere, online and in store. So we absolutely see schemes as a great partner. We've also been encouraged by the change in thinking by the schemes over the last few years as they've seen the enormous take-up of buy now, pay later, and are getting much more creative in servicing this sector. In Australia,
are you walking towards tap and go, do you think?
Oh, I think it's inevitable, and certainly during the COVID period, we leveraged our virtual card technology to let customers from the comfort of their home shop anywhere interest-free online under our Shop Anywhere scheme, and it's been hugely successful. And we absolutely see Australia's been the bedrock of tap and pay, and we're seeing that increasingly globally as well.
Yeah. Final question. Very interestingly, a lot of players in this market. We're just seeing news now of Chinese players also pushing in the buy now, pay later market. Can you all survive?
Look, I definitely think their large markets can hold a number of players, and it's about being able to service a large addressable market for the Chinese travellers. I think it's a fantastic product with Alipay has offered here for travellers. As a homegrown buy now, pay later, you see most checkouts have both Zip and Afterpay, and we both have large customer bases, slightly different customer bases. And in America, incredibly early, Quadpay has just north of 1.5 million customers. Some of the peers have about 5 million customers, and obviously there's hundreds of millions of customers over in that market. So we believe there is massive opportunity, but we have to run fast.